Hi, I'm Rena Owen. I'm an international award-winning actor, and I'm talking to the founder, host, Chris Gordon of www.hellblazerbiz.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, listeners and viewers, wherever you are in the world right now. This is Chris Gordon, and you are tuned in to Hellblazer Biz. Thank you very much. I appreciate your assistance as always. Your support is vital. Without you, this show is nothing. This week's guest is phenomenal. She is an award-winning actress who's been in Star Wars amongst many, many more. Currently on our screens playing the character Helen in the show on Sci-Fi and Freeform called Siren. Without further ado, I introduce to you Rena Owen. Everyone, I have the absolute delight of the company of Rena Owen, who, as you know and just heard, is an award-winning international actress who's currently starring in Siren at the moment as Helen. So, hey Rena, how are you? Thank you for joining me.
Hi guys, and thanks for having me, Chris. Very excited to be here.
Thank you. You're most welcome, and you flatter me. Excellent. Firstly, I want to say congratulations to you, the cast and crew, for season 2, because that was fantastic news. That came out yesterday, was it, I believe?
Absolutely. The official announcement was made at Upfronts, which is currently on in New York, the Big Apple. So yes, we're all excited that the cat is finally out of the bag and it's now official and it's a happening thing. The kind of a surprise, I think, for a lot of us is that we're going for 16 episodes.
Oh, wow.
As everyone knows that's been watching this first season, we've only done 10 episodes. Season 2 is going to be 16 episodes. So that's pretty exciting. That's a lot of story.
It is. That's almost twice the length of season 1. So, you can pack in a whole lot more into that. And it gives more expansion then for more seasons afterwards as well.
Well, that's right, and I think that's what's exciting because, just you're going to have that luxury of time to develop characters further and their relationships and their stories and what's going on in Bristol Cove. And one thing I can pretty much guarantee is that now that mermaids have come to land, I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon.
No, I think it's not just a storyline that's going to take, like some series you see, and that it's going to wrap in, as like 10 episodes or 20 episodes, and that's it, that's the end of it then. But this one, there's so much potential. There's so much potential for, and yeah, so season 2 we're looking forward to as well. As I say, I'm working my way through season 1 at the moment, and this is why I reached out straight away, because that's what I do. Yeah, I love TV. I love film, and if I enjoy a TV show, I will reach out to people like yourself, who I just sit there and admire on the screen and think, you know what, I'd love to talk to you about the show. So here we are.
Here we are, and I'm happy to chat with you, Chris.
Great. Yeah, brilliant. So first things first, I'd like to. What drew you to the script when you first read it? Because it's a bit of a different one.
It's very different. Firstly, I got the call from my agent. And he said, look, there's a pilot, and they're only seeing a few actors for each role. And they're very interested in you for the role of Helen.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool, very specific. They knew the actors they wanted for the roles, and they went after them. And I read the script, and I thought, okay, it was well written. I recognized the formula, I recognized the structure, but it was the substance, the content of the story that excited me because it was so totally original, and I'd never seen anything with top-level mermaid predators in my life. So I'm like, wow. And also, too, Helen, I just knew straight away that I was perfect for the role of Helen, and it was exciting. And it's something that doesn't happen every day where you read a script as an actor and you go, my goodness, this is 110% fresh
Yeah.
and unique and original. And every actor, they're lying if they don't say this, but every actor wants to be the first of the trailblazing TV show,
Mhm.
the first to do it, so to
Yeah.
speak. The first Lost, the first Walking Dead, the first Siren,
Yeah.
you know. And I prepared for the audition, and I went in and I did a really, really good audition, and they booked me. They locked me down.
Fantastic, and perfect choice. They did make the perfect choice because the character of Helen is core and central in the series, as everyone who's watching will know. Um, and yeah, you play it perfectly. Not being sycophantic, I'm just saying, that's how it is. You do play that
Yeah,
perfectly.
thank you. And this is something invaluable too for other actors to know. Is after we locked down the contract, I did get an email from the show creator, writer, and executive producer, and he said he'd been a big fan of mine since the New Zealand film I did Once We're Warriors, and he said we
Hmm.
always knew you would be right for Helen, and you just did a fantastic audition. So we joke about how this role was 22 years in the making. So, for an actor, because you can get discouraged, you do stuff and nothing comes of it. But hey, you never know. 22 years later, that something may come out of that work you did.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, yeah. And once I got all the scripts and got familiar with Helen and other things were kind of came out of stories, I knew exactly what they meant about me being right for the role. And it's great to be able to just be perfect for a character.
Exactly, exactly. And I think what you just said there as well about waiting. I think Samuel L. Jackson put it once. It took him 30 years to become an overnight success. Because
So
it's all,
true.
you work away and you work and you have got an impressive resume. I'll say that one. When I was obviously researching and looking up to ask you on the show, you have a hell of an impressive resume over the years. And you can't knock any of that, to be honest. Looking at the shows, but to come out with Siren, you're welcome. To come out with Siren, which is obviously becoming it's become a hit show already. You've got some fantastic ratings on there, and like you say, it's a culmination in some ways of the hard work that you've done and the hard work that you put in to just get something that falls so in place with what you want to do.
Absolutely. It's kind of the bulk of the career positions you for the next opportunity. Morgan Freeman's another one. I mean, he didn't really get his big breaks till his 50s, you know.
Exactly.
And I remember, many times I just give in because and go get a normal job Monday to Friday with a regular wage. But
Hmm.
my mum would often say to me, just remember Judi Dench and Helen Mirren. They didn't get their Hollywood breaks till they were well into their 50s.
Yeah.
So, it's a good time actually in your 50s, contrary to popular belief. Because when you're in your 40s, you're actually too old for the chickie babe, and you're too young for the kind of grandma or the old wise
Uh
character.
huh.
So yeah. So when you're in your 50s, you're actually at a great time as an actress, and you're more comfortable in your own skin. You're in your own power, and you got the experience and the craft. So you do really good work. So I was told a long time ago that I would be a late bloomer, and I believe that is definitely happening right now. I am in my late blooming phase in my career. And so it is exciting, and it's great to be in a TV series that's doing well, and is original, and it's exciting, and it keeps us all on edge. Along with the fans,
Hmm.
us actors were on edge with every episode because we never knew what was going to happen in the next episode until we got it. So
Right.
we'd all be curious. We'd be like, just like, what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
And it worked really well in terms of kind of keeping up the ante with the series. And as
Hmm.
you say, you watched to episode 7, and if you of my beloved fans were disappointed I wasn't in episode 7, so I just pointed out to them, look, Helen couldn't be on the boat with the men
True.
fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she also couldn't show up at the police station because she can't out herself
No,
in
no,
terms
not.
of who she is in her relationship with mermaids. So there really wasn't a place for her to suddenly pop up and have a story purpose. Every character has to have a purpose to being in a particular scene or being in a particular episode.
Mhm.
And the episode that you're about to watch, 8, it all takes place around the wake for our Captain Sean, and the whole town is involved in this episode. And it's
Okay.
a fantastic episode, and there's a lot of things that go down.
Mhm.
Um, do you want me, though, to kind of reveal to you what the big kind of bombshell was out of Helen's mouth?
Go on, you can. I'm going to be watching it straight after this anyway. Please do. As I say, I don't mind the spoilers because as the majority of people here would have seen it anyway. So who'll be listening in? So please go ahead.
Is Ben's father.
Oh,
And I mentioned to him that I have not received my check.
right.
And he's like not comfortable talking about the subject where we're currently at, but I say that I want to help out Ian's mother with the expenses. So
Mhm.
people are like, what's this check about? And then I end the scene with, it's a shame that there's so much water under the bridge between us. After all, we're family.
Mm.
So that's the big kind of drop there, and everyone wants to know, oh my God, okay, so Helen and Ben's father are family. What does that actually involve?
Yeah.
And does Ben know that we're family?
Hmm.
So, that's something that will be, more information will be revealed. But that was an exciting dynamic because it's like, oh my God, there's so much history and intrigue to these characters and to
Mhm.
this town. And I think in season 2, we're going to be able to really develop even further intrigue in these character relationships and the histories and Bristol Cove as a town because it's an exciting town.
Well, yeah.
And yeah, and then there's a lot of dynamics going on down between, our love trio, our love triangle with Ben and Maddie and Rin.
Mhm.
Because at the beginning of the episode, Ben is kind of like in a really uncomfortable place, given what's gone down with on the boat with
Yeah.
Mermaid killing Captain Sean. He's now no longer kind of feeling safe or convinced about Rin. And so
Mhm.
throughout the course of that episode, she really has to kind of find that way to make him feel safe again.
Yeah.
And she has some beautiful moments, as does he, and as do Maddie. And Maddie looks after Xander because Xander's in a very emotional, volatile place, and that's the other big bombshell in episode 8 is Xander discovers that Rin is a mermaid.
Okay.
Of course, rightfully so, he is absolutely livid with
Mhm.
Ben and Maddie,
Oh yeah.
who, you know. So it was a really volatile episode, great episode, and it sets it up for a very dramatic episode 9, which is going down tomorrow here in the USA,
Mhm.
at 8 or 7 Central on Freeform, and it's there's a lot of action and a lot of drama in episode 9. It's a shocking episode actually.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant. That's a great sort of overview. Thank you. I'm definitely looking forward to this even more now because it's a. But you're right. I mean, there are so many good dynamics in there, and I mean, what was one of the things I was going to say? I've noticed something with Helen's character as well there, and I just think when Helen is with Rin or Donna in the presence of them, I mean she's always she's the outsider anyway in the village in the town, and there's obviously that's the reason why is because of her past etc. But when she's with Rin and Donna, I just notice she seems to be a bit more of a different way she interacts with people because she just I don't know I think it's hard to explain. There just seems the interaction with when they're in the room, it just seems to be there's a different she comes over as a different persona yet again. It's very slightly with the way she acts with like
Yeah,
Ben and stuff. That's
yeah.
just maybe it's just me
That,
seeing
that,
it.
that's so no. I'm glad you picked that up because that absolutely is what goes down, and it's not necessarily something I was conscious about or
Mhm.
played consciously. it just kind of happened as a result of the story and me being able to reveal to both of them that I am one of them.
Yeah.
And so there was an intimacy to that, and I never forget doing that scene in episode 4 where Rin developed my kind of scaly
Yeah, the
skin.
rat, and you revealed yours, yeah.
Yep, and I remember feeling incredibly vulnerable.
Mhm.
And and she's, says they call it an autoimmune response. So that's the kind of cover she's had to put on for so long with other people. So, and then of course with Donna, the next episode, she goes on to say, I can help you. You can trust me because I'm one of you.
Mhm.
So it's like it's when somebody finds their tribe.
Yeah.
You just go, oh God, I'm so at home here, or I can finally just be me and relax, and I don't have to keep up the facade,
Mhm.
And as I say, I'm not necessarily, I didn't, as an actor, said, I don't go, oh, well, I've got to be different with these guys than I am in the village.
Yeah.
It just
It
happened
just
as a
happened
result.
naturally as part of the.
Absolutely, absolutely, very organic, very authentically, and that's the thing, the beauty of this character, Helen. And the writer always said, our wonderful Eric Wilde, he always said, it's such, and our showrunner Emily, they always said it's such a fantastical story.
Mhm.
We have to keep it rooted in a very real world.
Yeah.
In order to make it work. And Helen is part of that anchor to keeping it real.
Mhm.
She really is that kind of down to that earthy character, and just in terms of her being very real with the mermaids, and then also with the townsfolk. Okay, they don't necessarily know her secret or her heritage,
Yeah.
but hey, in season 2, maybe some of them do, or maybe Helen's got relatives somewhere. I mean, anything could happen. I mean, right now,
Very true.
yes, absolutely. Right now, the fans most want to know how I'm related
Mhm.
to father, but even more so, they want to know if Helen can transform and if Helen's got a tail.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. That was one of the things I was going to ask you. Were we going to find that out?
I obviously can't answer that question. But yeah, they're like, oh my God, we can't wait to see you transform, and what colour's your tail gonna be? And we've got the most amazing fans. They're genuinely so passionate about the show and the
Mhm.
world, and and they've been giving us so much love, and it's a really beautiful thing, and it's a wonderful experience for an old jaded actor who's been around the block for 30 years in this industry, and I'm always genuinely touched when I get these messages or I see these posts on my Instagram or Twitter, and
Mhm.
them saying, "Oh my God, you just made my day," and you just go, God, you can make such a significant difference just by taking the time to acknowledge someone
Yeah.
and say thank you, and that's a really humbling privilege
Mhm.
to be in that position, and I think the 3 qualities that do make TV series successful is we've got them. We've got the originality, we've got the character, we've got the uniqueness, we've got the intrigue.
Yeah.
People are sitting there guessing and coming up. Oh, some of the conspiracy theories. Oh my goodness. There's all these conspiracy theories. There's all of these and I read when I have time. I read a lot of the comments left
Yeah.
on this post, and the debates going down. No, I think it's going to be this way, and oh no, I think it's going to be this way, and that makes it like one big fat. We're all engaged in this discussion.
Mhm.
It is exciting. It is
Yeah.
exciting, and episode 9 is incredibly dramatic, and 10 is. I haven't come up with a word for 10. So, nine is shocking and dramatic.
Mhm.
10 is a revelation.
Okay.
Is
Excellent.
that's the first word to come to my mind because a lot is revealed in ten,
Okay.
and of course, 10 sets up all kind of possibilities for season two.
Yeah.
You know,
Excellent.
if I come up with a different word, I'll let you know on Twitter. But right now, revelation is
Revelation. Revelation's a good word. I like the
yeah,
revelation, especially for a
yeah,
season finale. I think you're right. I think a lot of this, I mean, of the shows which are big successes as well, it's because of the interactions, like you've just said, with the families, people, feeling like a family. At the moment, there's another show which I'm doing, which is the Lucifer, which just got cancelled, but it's had over 4 million tweets worldwide in response to it because it's it was exactly what Siren is. It's that combination of the actors and the family that you've got, the storylines, the writing, and then obviously the interaction with the fans and the fan base taking it on board and creating their own. That is exactly what you just said. It's the reason why I think shows are big successes nowadays, and social media has managed to bring that together for everybody,
yeah,
and a lot
yeah.
closer.
I was actually surprised that was cancelled. I mean, I don't get to follow a lot of shows. I tend to binge watch them when I have time.
Yeah,
But I was surprised Lucifer got cancelled because what I did see of it, I really liked.
it's a brilliant
Um,
show.
yeah. So, do you think someone's gonna pick it up and save it?
I'm hoping so. I've actually just before brought on some fans who've been pushing out for the renewal, and I know Tom Ellis is on the BBC tonight on Newsnight in about an hour's time, and to be interviewed. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of talk going underway at the moment with the different networks. Like much
Yeah.
more than that than I do. the way the talks that go on between networks. So I've got a feeling it will be because I think within 6 minutes there was 1 million tweets or something like,
Wow.
or six, yeah, or 600 and some whatever it was. But I think within a few hours, it was over a couple of million tweets
Wow.
worldwide from people saying, "What are save Lucifer, save Lucifer."
What?
So yeah, you can't ignore that.
No, you can't, and I think it will get ignored. I worked on a show. I was very, very lucky
Mhm.
to do a reoccurring role on Longmire, the
Yeah. Oh
brilliant,
yeah.
brilliant Longmire, and A&E cancelled it, and
Mm.
and there was such fan outrage. They literally stampeded social media. They made such a loud noise, like what's going on with Lucifer, that it got picked up.
Yeah.
Net, Netflix picked it up
They did.
and did another, I think, another 2 seasons. Was it 1 or 2 seasons? I can't
I
remember,
think
but
it's 2 seasons. I think it's only just because Katie Sackhoff was in it, wasn't she?
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, fans are powerful.
They are. It can.
Fans very powerful, and they can use their power to bring back shows. And networks need to listen to their fans because at the end of the day, myself as an actor or you or a network, we don't have a job without an audience.
Exactly.
We don't have a job without an audience, so we have to listen to our fans and our audiences and value their opinions. So, yeah, with that much reaction, I think Lucifer's going to get picked up by maybe Hulu or Netflix or maybe Amazon.
Yeah, the CW I think we're looking at as well. The CW because they've got all the other DC shows at the moment, like
What's
Flash
that?
and
What's that one? Which
the
show?
CW network.
Oh, yes, CW, of
Yeah,
course.
the ones who put on
Of course.
Flash and Arrow and everything.
Yeah, yeah, because remind me which network it was on. Lucifer was on
Fox
Fox.
is on
Yes,
Fox. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well, also too, we had another New Zealander in it, Leslie Ann.
yeah, she's been on my show last year. She's lovely as well.
Yep, yep. And she's not a born and bred New Zealander, but I'm sure you found out she
She's
had.
South African
That's
roots as
right.
well.
That's right. Well, that's where she grew up. She was born and raised in Cape Town, and then immigrated with her family to Auckland, New
Mhm.
Zealand, in her late tweens, and that's where she got started in her acting career.
Yeah.
And that's actually what led her to Lucifer because she did a whole lot of stuff, including Spartacus in New Zealand and some movies, and that's what kind of got her career going here in America. And I think she's a fantastic actress, and she was great in that role.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And I mean, New Zealand's bringing out some great actors like yourself as well. But if you think you're welcome, Jed Brophy and Manu Bennett. They're both been on the show and before as well, and they're from New Zealand.
Yes, yes, I know Manu Bennett.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Jed Brophy. He was in The Hobbit. He was one of the dwarves in The Hobbit.
I know. I did a theatre show with Jed Brophy many, many years ago. I tell you who I also I did a great theatre show with Martin Chalkos, who went on to do a lot of big Hollywood movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, the one I worked with on his very first job was Carl Urban.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing a TV series. It was in New Zealand called Shark in the Park,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a reoccurring role. This was in like 1990.
Yeah.
Oh, or 1989, 1990, and one of our series regulars, one of our main cops, the storyline was having trouble with his teenage son. And on set comes this teenager, and I took one look at him. I thought, my God, this guy, this boy,
Mm-hmm.
star. He just exuded that kind of Marlon Brando.
Uh-huh.
He just had all of those qualities, and he was gorgeous, and he just had a great physique, but he could act,
Yeah.
and and of course he's gone on to have an enormous career, huge career. Yeah, there's quite a few of us. KJ Upper is another one,
Mm-hmm.
the lead in Riverdale. He's like me. He's a biracial hupper boy, as we
Yeah.
call ourselves. He's Samoan and English, and I'm Maori and
Mm-hmm.
English. So, and Carl, this is not a well-known fact, but Carl Urban also has some Cook Islanders, part Rarotongan.
Okay.
So, it's what gives us our exotic look, is that
Yeah.
we've got that kind of exotic mix. Another one of us who's been doing very well is my dear friend Simone Kessel,
Mm-hmm.
her series regular on The Crossing, and I'm so disappointed it's been cancelled because I was really, really loving the show and
Yeah.
really getting into it, and I wish they'd at least given it another season, but it's brutal on networks. Networks are brutal
They are.
if a show's not rating, there's just so much money on the line. I think there's a little bit more leeway with cable.
Mm-hmm. I think
Like,
so. I think they do. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm sorry The Crossing has been cancelled.
Yeah. That's the one where they came from the future, wasn't it? And they came. Is that the one where they all ended up in the water?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. I've just started watching that, so I'll be gutted when I get to the end and it
Yeah.
doesn't. I know it's not going to carry on.
Oh, I thought it was great. I really
It is
liked
really
it.
good.
I was, really getting into it,
Mm-hmm.
and then boom,
Damn.
on.
Yeah, that's what the minds of these network guys. I think the Lucifer one was part of the NFL as well. I think there was some football things, decisions made in that too. But never mind.
Well, it also might be due to the fact that Disney is in the process of buying Fox.
You never know. It could be. There's all these things which we will never know until it happens because they're all behind closed doors. So it could be very well be competing conflicts of interest.
I'm pretty convinced that all the fan efforts are going to bring back Lucifer.
Oh yes, definitely. Just like they've brought Siren into a season 2, and the work of everybody, which is fantastic news. I've actually got a question here, Rena, from Elizabeth Castella Castado. You might have seen it on Twitter because she'd responded to the tweet.
Hi.
She'd like to know if Helen is going to tell Ben that she's also a mermaid, and if we're actually going to. Oh, there you go. That's what you mentioned before. Whether we're going to see her, whether they're going to see Helen transform one day. But she'd like to know if you're going to tell Ben.
Well, I can't.
You can't.
I can't give away possible maybes, maybe not. I'm not sure. All I can say is just going to have to keep watching.
Yeah, and there's 16 episodes of a season 2 where we can wonder that same thing. You see, that's the whole storylines to develop.
But you will get a little bit of something before the season ends. So you won't be, because a lot of fans have been regularly saying that they hope they get at least some of Helen's backstory. So I'm just going to say you'll get a little something.
You teased.
That's all I can do, unfortunately.
I know. It's one of these ones where sometimes it's you just can't do it because otherwise you'll end up in trouble.
Can't do scene spoilers.
Exactly. No, it's fine. I've got a couple of. What's it like to work along the other side, like Aline, Alex, and Fowler? How I mean, you've mentioned it before. You're like a little family.
We really are. We established that in the pilot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give credit where credit is due. In our first few days of pre-production, where we're sorting out hair and contacts and wardrobe, Elite said to me on the makeup bus, we were on the makeup bus, both sitting next to each other, and she said, in order for this to work, in order to help this to work, we really have to connect.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, you're right. So I said, look, you're going to be working every day. I'm not. I'm going to have time off. So I'll organize, I'll put together company stuff so that we meet on a regular basis. So, yes, I became the social calendar manager and put together regular dinners, and we also had regular watching of the debates, because the debates were going down at the time between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And so we had all of this private, personal time. So that really helps people to connect, because you don't get the luxury of that on set, because you're there to do a job, and they're setting up shots, so we got to just sit back and have dinners and laugh and sit in each other's apartments and just share time, and that is really where we bonded. And then just but we continued that when we went back, when the pilot got picked up and we went back to shoot 10 episodes in 2017, we just kind of kept that ritual of getting together on a regular basis. And we did a lot of cool dinners, and we went kayaking one weekend, and then we, went race car driving one weekend, and people had birthdays. And, I guess it's like any company. I think, if you take that time to spend time and make people matter, it just leads to better work.
Yeah, you're right, it does. I was actually talking, because I work in IT main full time, and I was actually talking to my boss yesterday, and saying that you have, if you create positivity around yourself and your colleague who you're working with all the time, then you produce a lot better work, and things like that. That's how it is.
Absolutely, and I loved working with mostly all of my scenes. So the majority of my scenes were with Ren and Donna and Ben and Maddie.
Yeah.
I do finally get a scene with some other characters.
Almost.
Almost, yes. I nearly gave it away, but I do get scenes with other characters. But yes, last episode, episode 8 that you haven't seen, I got my first scene, kind of one-on-one scene with Ben's dad.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and that was fantastic, and that's a really juicy scene.
Excellent. You see, this is perfectly lining me up now to go and sit back and just put it on.
You're going to have to watch it before you see episode 9.
Oh no, well obviously, yeah, definitely, because it's gonna, honestly, it's one of these series that I've not been able to stop, because it's going on ever since the first moment when Aline walks out of the water, and me being a hot-blooded, I'm 42-year-old male, and saw her with those eyes, I was just like, wow, it's just, and obviously then, that was obviously the hook in, and then from then it was just, like you said, everything about it, the storylines, the acting, every character is just so full of watchability, for want of a better word. It's just...
Yeah. No, she's absolutely extraordinary, and she just looks the part. And I always said this to her, and I've said it pretty much in every interview. If Rin didn't work, the show wouldn't work.
Yeah, definitely. Because she's got to be right, because there's a lot of, because at the beginning, especially when she couldn't talk, there was a lot of, it was all conveyed with body and facial expressions, and she just gets it perfect. And you're right, if it wasn't right at that point, it wouldn't.
If our leading, that's right. If our leading lady, because the whole story is centered around her, and if we didn't buy into her, we didn't find her believable, then really the series would not work. Because it is all about Rin. Season 1 is definitely all centered around Rin. So and she does an extraordinary job. she looks absolutely, as many people say, she looks like a mermaid.
She does.
Yeah, and she's an extraordinary, and she's a very skilled actor, and she's studious, and she does a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm.
And as do all the other kind of series regulars, Ben and Maddie and Helen and Xander and Donna. We were the 6 series regulars for the season 1, and it was just so diverse and so many, it was like a smorgasbord, really, of different flavors. And I said this in one interview. I said we're like the United Nations. A little bit of something from everywhere around the world.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. But it's a very interesting mix, like you say, mix of actors in there, and it's just a formula that works. It's really good.
Incredibly diverse, and then we've had wonderful reoccurring actors, supporting roles, whether that's Ron Ewan as Decker or Gil Birmingham as our local sheriff, and all of the side, the sidekicks. It's just all been, everyone's brought something. Everyone brings something to the show and adds to the life in Bristol Cove, our fishermen and our people at the Anchor Bar, and just everybody. It's a colourful town, but yet it's a very identifiable town. And it goes back to what the writer drew on is one of his all-time favourites from his youth was Jaws.
Yeah,
which was very similar in terms of it created a very small very real coastal community, and a dangerous creature comes into their lives, and that's pretty much what's gone down in Siren.
Yeah. Well, now you say it, yes.
Yeah. And I'll tell you another little thing you'll appreciate. Well, in preparation to shoot this season, we were talking about character. One of our showrunners and one of our directors, he said to me, at our kind of dinner before we started doing season 1, he said, "Listen, Eric based this on Jaws," and I said, "Yeah," and he said, "If you get a chance to watch it again, watch it and pay particular attention to Quint." The character Quint, played beautifully by the British actor Robert Shaw.
Yeah.
And so I watched it, and first and foremost, I'm going to say it still made me jump, just like it did when I was a kid. But when I paid close attention to Robert Shaw and to his Quint, by the end of his role, I knew exactly the quality they were looking for Helen.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, if you look at Jaws and you look at Helen in the first quarter or the first half of this season 1, I'm just like his character, telling them you don't know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't know what you're dealing with. That shark is gonna swallow you whole, and that's exactly what Helen spends her time doing in all those first few episodes, trying to protect people and trying to protect the mermaids, and saying, you don't know what you're dealing with. So there you go. But that kind of was the cherry on the cake, and I thought, now I know. Now, and that for me really cemented a very important character quality. The pragmatic, realist Helen. Come on, guys, they will rip your head off.
No, now I see it, definitely, because Robert Shaw was just astounding. I loved him in that character.
Yeah, brilliant, and a brilliant character actor, and I'm lucky as an actor that because I am a character actor, so I feel very blessed to be blessed with Helen, because I love being Helen, and she's interesting and she's just unique, and she's an enigma, you know, and she gets to be a little eccentric and a little quirky and a little odd, And she's just cool. It's just a really cool character. So to all actresses out there who think it's all about being the hot young chickie babe, yes, it is for that portion of your career, but it just gets better with age.
I'm hoping that I'm just getting into my acting career again at the moment. So I'm really,
Oh,
yeah, I'm trying
well,
to, yeah.
good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. But it does get better with age.
Thank you, thank you. Well, as I'm 42 now, so I'm in that middle bit. So I'm hoping that you're right.
There you go. Well, if you hang in there, there's something I do know. If you persevere, talent does prevail.
Yeah, hopefully I've got talent. That'll be soon to tell. Cool. I'm going to move on. The last question I've got quickly for you before I move on to my signature one for you.
Right. Yeah.
Rena, is what has actually been your favourite moment filming Siren so far? We've had such a wonderful discussion about the whole thing, and I really, it's just been absolutely fascinating. So, what was the favourite part of filming season 1 so far?
Oh, three really, actually four really poignant moments.
Mm-hmm.
Well, possibly five when I first see Rin.
Yeah.
And I know she's a mermaid, and you see it in my expression. This is my greatest dream come true, but also my biggest nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In that moment. The second really poignant, memorable moment is when Ben comes to my store at the end of the pilot, that first episode, and I give him his family's history.
Yeah.
About the bloody history of genocide. And then after that is that scene where Rin discovers scales on my legs. That was a beautiful scene, which I will never forget. It was just so intimate and vulnerable. And then same with the scene when I tell Donna, when I out myself and I tell her that I'm one of hers, one of them. That was a very emotional moment because Helen had never spoken those words out loud.
No, kept a secret all that long.
Yeah, that's right. And then the scene last week, which you have yet to see, with Ben's father. That is I love that. I love that moment because it's just that Donna and Ted Pownall scene. Helen and Ted Pownall scene is like, wow. There's a lot of history gone down in that scene, and when you see the scene, I think you'll understand why it has become one of my favorites. Just so many moments. Just every moment as Helen, I would relish every moment I got, and just the entire cast and the entire crew and the location, Vancouver. It was an amazing journey, and it has been an amazing ride. And even this past few months, it's a whole new world for me, kind of embracing and becoming part of social media, which I never thought I'd ever do, to be honest. Because I've always been such a reclusive, kind of introverted, private person. And I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself that I've learnt some new skills and that I'm embracing the way of our youth and engaging with fans. And, and I think if I can do it, then anybody can do it.
That's a fantastic philosophy.
I'm going to be honest. I enjoy because I get all these photos. I take all these photos, and then it takes me quite a long time to put all these videos together. But I enjoy it, and I tell you what, I tend to do those little videos when I'm like, okay, I don't want to really deal with my tax return right now. I don't that tedious right brain stuff. I'm going to go and play. So, you'll find quite a few interesting videos on my Instagram page. I just posted one today recently with images from, I was very privileged because I was in 2 prior Star Wars episode 2.
Yes, you were.
I was very privileged to go to the world premiere of Solo.
Oh, wow.
Week here in Hollywood. So I've got a lot of other photos, but I can't share them yet because they're there's scene spoilers.
Right, got you. Yep.
In terms of casting. So, but I've shared today ones that I could share from the red carpet with fans because they're not going to drop any bombs. So, and then the video before that Siren fans will enjoy is I put together a whole bunch of photos of our gorgeous leading man, Alex, because it was his birthday. So yeah,
Oh,
so
lovely.
I enjoy making those little videos, and then sometimes I do know that they're a way of distracting me and kind of procrastinate and dealing with the more
Yeah.
tedious stuff. But anyway, it's fun. It's a new world, and it's fun, and I feel like I still have a lot to learn. And we'll continue to evolve and grow with our town, with Bristol Cove, and season 2. It's just, I think it's so exciting, and I'm so grateful to Freeform for running with Siren. That's what it takes. It takes a bold, brave, beautiful network like Freeform, whose motto is a little forward. So thank
Yeah.
God for Freeform, because if it wasn't for Freeform, Siren would not exist.
Yeah, it's that bold thinking and that innovative people to think and put
Absolutely.
something into motion like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm very grateful to be a part of this journey.
Lovely, excellent, thank you. I've got one question for you, and this is what I alluded to you earlier. This is my
Yeah.
signature question. I'll go into the quick background on this. Is basically last year one of my guests he was actually a Star Wars guest as well. He was Mike Quinn, who was Nine Num in Star
Yes,
Wars. Yep.
I know
And
exactly who you mean.
yeah, and a puppeteer and a muppeteer for 30
Yeah.
years. Someone sent me a question in, and I thought, this is such a fun question. I'm going to ask every guest that I have. And so, if you could have a Muppet character made after you, your own self personality, what Muppet would it be and why? And it could be a new creation, or it could be a mix of a few.
No, it has to be a new, because from the Muppets I am familiar with, none of them kind of do it for me, Rena. They would have to come up with a new Muppet that would be a Yodette, a female version of Yoda.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it'd have to be a new one. It either has to be Yoda or E.T.
Okay.
Because that's my two favorites of all time. I'm just thinking, though, let me look at some. Yeah, because I can't. Oh, I've always loved Miss Piggy, but I can't. I can't be Miss Piggy. No, I couldn't be Miss Piggy. But I'm just trying to think if there are actually any Muppet characters that would be. I don't think. Off the top of my head, I don't think there are. Or
Well,
correct me if I'm wrong.
a brand new one will be fine. The Yoda one's good.
Yeah, I think it has to be, or actually, I should actually even go more specific. Let's make it my Star Wars Episode 2 character, Ton Wee.
Okay.
The Camino alien. I think that would be,
That'll
a
make a nice
combination of Ton Wee and Yoda. It has to be a new one, because I'm not really thinking there's a Muppet out there that's really similar to me. But if I had to choose from the ones that exist, then obviously I'm going to choose Miss Piggy.
Fair enough. I was about to do my Yoda. And Yoda, good choice you have made.
There you go. You do that voice well, my friend. You do it very well. Yeah, I want to be a female Yoda.
Yeah. Lots of practice, that is. I'll keep getting told to do voiceover, because my Kermit one as well was like, why are there so many songs about rainbows?
You are. You're really good at it. You should definitely take people's advice and do some voiceover and keep exploring your acting dreams.
Yeah.
And good luck with it all.
Brilliant. Anyway, I'm going to stop. Anything quickly before I stop recording that you would like to say to people who are listening to this?
I really just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching Siren. Thank you for supporting Siren. And thank you for all of your love. And I know that we really all appreciate our fans. And you guys all helped to get us to a season 2. Because if you guys weren't watching our show, we wouldn't be having a season 2. So just big love you all. And thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Rena. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and joining in. Appreciate your help and support everywhere. This has been Chris Gordon on Hellblazer Biz with Rena Owen, and please make sure to check out Hellblazer Biz on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, Twitter, and more. Thank you very much. See you next time.